You didn't come here feeling calm. You came here because something inside you has been restless. Because the ground beneath your life hasn't felt solid for a while now. Because even on quiet days, there's a tension you can't quite name. It's like your soul keeps tapping you on the shoulder, asking you to pay attention. This isn't panic, and it isn't imagination. It's awareness arriving before impact. There are moments in life when the universe doesn't shout. It whispers. And if that whisper is ignored long enough, it turns into pressure. Circumstances begin to tighten. Patterns repeat themselves. Familiar pain shows up wearing different faces. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. You are in one of those moments right now. What you've been feeling lately isn't random confusion. It's not you losing your way. It's the uneasy sensation of standing at the edge of a turning point while still facing the direction you came from. Part of you already knows something has to change. Another part is afraid of what that change will cost. That inner conflict is the warning. The universe doesn't warn you before it destroys you. It warns you before you outgrow a life that can no longer hold who you're becoming. Look back at the last season of your life. Be honest with yourself. How many times did you feel drained after certain conversations? How often did you override your intuition just to keep the peace? How long have you been carrying pain that no longer feels like growth? The dark night of the soul doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion. Sometimes it looks like emotional numbness. Sometimes it looks like waking up one day and realizing you don't recognize yourself inside the life you worked so hard to build. It's the moment when the old ways stop working, but the new path hasn't revealed itself yet. That space is sacred, and it's dangerous if ignored, because the universe will not allow you to keep betraying your truth forever. When warnings appear, they often arrive disguised as delays, as endings you didn't ask for, as people drifting away, as plans collapsing at the last possible second. It feels cruel when you don't understand it, but every divine intervention has one purpose: to interrupt a future that would have cost you your soul. Some of the pain you've endured wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to get your attention. There are cycles you've lived before, the same lessons, the same emotional wounds, the same promises to yourself that this time will be different. The universe is patient, but it is also precise. Eventually, it stops repeating the lesson gently. This is the moment before that escalation. Not because you're failing, but because you're ready. Ready to stop choosing comfort over truth. Ready to stop shrinking to fit spaces you have spiritually outgrown. Ready to stop mistaking survival for fulfillment. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is releasing the illusion that control has kept you safe. The laws of the universe do not reward force. They respond to alignment. And alignment requires honesty. With yourself, with God, with the quiet knowing you've been trying to outrun. The warning you're receiving now isn't about fear. It's about timing. There is one version of your future that only becomes possible if you listen now. And there is another, heavier, lonelier, more painful, that unfolds if you don't. That's the truth most people never hear until it's too late. You are being asked to choose consciousness over conditioning, to trust that what's being removed isn't being taken, it's being cleared, to believe that what feels like loss is actually precision. Abundance does not arrive where self-betrayal lives. God does not rush transformation, but when the soul is ready, the universe accelerates. Warnings don't show up as threats. They arrive as final invitations. This is one of them. Notice how your tolerance for the old has dropped, how certain environments suddenly feel unbearable, how your spirit reacts faster now, with discomfort, resistance, even grief. That's not weakness. That's elevation. You are crossing a threshold where living unconsciously would cost too much, where ignoring truth would create consequences your heart is no longer built to carry. So the universe intervenes early, with signs, with unease, with messages like this one, not to control you, but to free you. The most painful thing isn't change. It's staying when your soul has already left, and right now, your soul is already packing. This warning isn't about disaster. It's about destiny, about the quiet moment before alignment locks in, about the last chance to choose growth over repetition, love over attachment, truth over fear. If everything feels like it's slowing down, it's not because you're losing momentum or falling behind. It's because something irreversible is being arranged beneath the surface of your life. When the universe prepares a realignment, it doesn't rush. It creates space. It clears noise. It pulls your attention inward so you don't miss what's quietly forming. What feels like stagnation is often precision. What feels like delay is often protection. Life pauses not to punish you, but to reposition you. There are moments when forward movement would actually take you further away from your truth. So the universe slows everything down, not to stop you, but to save you from building a future that would eventually feel empty. When momentum fades, it's an invitation to listen, to notice what your intuition has been whispering while the world was loud, to recognize that speed without alignment only leads to exhaustion. If you feel isolated, it isn't because you've been abandoned. It's because your frequency is changing. Growth always creates distance before it creates connection. As your awareness expands, certain relationships can no longer meet you where you are. Some people were aligned with an older version of you, one that needed them at the time, but no longer needs the same lessons. This doesn't mean anyone failed. It means the season completed itself. Isolation can feel uncomfortable, even frightening, especially if you're used to drawing your sense of self from external validation. But this kind of isolation isn't emptiness. It's recalibration. It's the quiet required for your inner voice to become louder than everyone else's expectations. It's the space where clarity begins to form without interference. What feels like loneliness is often your soul asking for privacy while it evolves. If emotional waves rise without a clear reason, if sadness, nostalgia, grief, or restlessness appear without warning, understand this. Something old is leaving. Old karmic threads are loosening their grip. Patterns that once defined your reactions are dissolving. Emotional responses you suppressed in order to survive are finally asking to be felt now that you're strong enough to process them. This isn't regression, it's release. Healing doesn't always look peaceful. Sometimes it looks like feeling more, not less. Like remembering things you thought you were done with. Like grieving versions of yourself that had to endure what you now understand. These emotional waves aren't here to drown you. They're here to cleanse you, to clear unresolved energy so you don't carry it into the next chapter of your life. This is what preparation feels like. Preparation doesn't arrive as certainty. It arrives as sensitivity, as awareness, as discomfort with the familiar. Suddenly, things you once tolerated feel unbearable. Conversations feel hollow. Environments feel heavy. Routines feel misaligned. This isn't dissatisfaction. It's discernment. Your inner world is changing faster than your outer life, and the gap between them creates tension. That tension is sacred. It's the pressure that precedes transformation, and preparation is never comfortable. It stretches your identity. It challenges your attachments. It removes structures you once relied on for safety, so something truer can replace them. The ego resists this phase because it thrives on predictability. But the soul understands that what's coming requires a different foundation. Every miracle is preceded by a season that tests your trust, not because you're being judged, but because trust is the doorway. If you can trust the unseen, you can receive what hasn't arrived yet. If you can release control, you can step into alignment. The universe doesn't respond to force. It responds to honesty. What comes next depends on whether you listen. Not to noise, the endless opinions telling you who you should be. Not to pressure, the timelines imposed by fear and comparison. Not to urgency disguised as logic, but to the soft, steady knowing inside you. The voice that doesn't panic, the voice that doesn't argue, the voice that doesn't beg for approval, the voice that has been guiding you quietly, patiently, even when you ignored it. That voice has always known the way home. Before you move forward, anchor this moment, not silently, not unconsciously, but deliberately. This is a threshold, a pause before commitment, a breath before direction shifts. When you anchor awareness, you turn insight into alignment. Write this as your declaration. I choose truth, and I trust divine guidance. Let these words be more than affirmation. Let them be a decision, a line you no longer cross back over, a commitment to stop betraying yourself for comfort, a promise to honor what feels real, even when it's inconvenient, a signal to the universe that you are ready to cooperate with alignment instead of resisting it. This declaration isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. It's about choosing consciousness over conditioning. It's about allowing what no longer serves you to fall away without chasing it, fixing it, or explaining it. And if someone you love has been walking through confusion, loss, or exhaustion they can't explain, share this with them. Not to convince them, not to awaken them before they're ready, but to remind them they're not broken. They're in transition. Sometimes the warning is the mercy. Sometimes the discomfort is the protection. Sometimes the slowing down is the universe stepping in before you step too far away from yourself. And sometimes the message arrives at the exact moment the soul is finally ready to listen.